Welcome to the TaiyangNews and SNEC-Solar Leaders Conversation. My name is Michael Schmela. I'm the Managing Director of TaiyangNews, and I'm very glad to have with me today Dan Zhou, who's the CEO of Huasun. Welcome, Dan.
Nice to meet you, Mike. Hi everyone. I'm Dan Zhou from Huasun. I'm the CEO of Huasun.
Huasun is a very interesting company. So you made a big appearance moving into heterojunction technology.
That's right.
And did that basically while more or less, I don't know, so the rest, but the bulk of the industry is moving TOPCon. So you totally focused on one technology.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us some background on your decision to go fully HJT.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. We are a startup company.
Yeah.
We are less than 3 years old. By July, we'll be reaching 3. And so, as a startup company, it's we believe the best choice is to follow a different approach, rather than following what the big heads are doing. So that's the first reason. And secondly, even though we are a startup company, but we are actually being funded by a bunch of, let's call that PV veterans. We have average industry experience with more than like 15 years industry experience. So with our career down the line, we more or less get in touch of HJT. We should say we are a bunch of HJT believers. And unfortunately, in the previous career, we don't really have the chance to go from research to massive production under HJT. So, and that's pretty much the reason why we formed up Huasun. We mainly focus just in massive production of HJT. So that's the second reason. And then thirdly, we see, in the past we always see there's a lot of technology changes in PV, especially in the cell part. There was we always see like from 3 to 5 years there will be like size change, technology change that will causing a lot of capex being wasted. That's the third reason why we choosing HJT, because we see there's a longer life period for HJT, not only from what we have now, but we can see the future for HJT. We can add on top of HJT, goes from HJT to future tandem cells, and then so there's a lot more longer life period for HJT. So that's the third reason why we're choosing that.
Okay. So on the other hand, of course, it's somewhat also of a hard entry, because it's a new technology, it's new equipment, it's completely different from what we've seen in PERC. So TOPCon is somewhat easier, you just add a few machines, and here you have a completely different environment. Huh?
That's right. That's why we said, we are a bunch of HJT believers. We believe in that technology, but obviously it's a lot harder to entry. So, well, they have some benefit, you build up barriers for others. Not easy to go into this route. And then secondly, we believe that you start harder, and then you go more smoothly and get easier and easier.
So when we are in this strong capex phase, everyone is expanding like crazy, but if you get into a new technology and there's also not so many peers who are around and can help, you can copy from, so you have to go the hard way more or less on your own. So what are your plans in terms of expansion, and what's the horizon?
Well, yeah, actually that's also another reason why I forgot to mention that why we're choosing HJT is because, as exactly what you said, there's a lot of frontier companies, and they invest in PERC and TOPCon. They have expanded crazily in that field. So you have more or less same product. So the latest, as we just discussed, the latest figure, whether it's for this year or maybe you're looking into like next couple of years, the latest CPIA figures, they estimate by 2030 it will reach annual installation goes to like 1,000 gigawatt, so 1 TW period. So that's, and they anticipate that 1/3 of that will be HJT. So exactly that's why we weren't choosing HJT, because there was no PS. So that's, we call that as one of the benefit. But then obviously the downside for that is we have to do everything by ourselves, and so the market potential is huge for us. The opportunity is there. It's whether or not we can get it. And so we have a big expansion plan, but comparing to others, is maybe relatively small. So what we have now is we already have 5 gigawatts of capacity from wafer, all the way from HJT, specialized wafer, cell, and module. So 5 gigawatts of capacity right now, and by the end of this year we will be reaching 20 gigawatts. And we're still doing expansion for 4. We have 4 bases now, 2 bases in Anhui, 1 base in Jiangsu province, and another base in Yunnan province. So we have 4 bases in total, and those accumulatively by the end of next year, by the end of 2025, we will roughly reach slightly over 40 gigawatts.
Okay, well.
Yeah, so we pretty much just double what we have for each base.
It's not so unambitious, huh?
No. Yeah.
But so what we see also with new technologies is also that it's still nevertheless quickly development. So you recently come up with this 3.0 HJT technology. So there's a 1.0, the 2.0, the 3.0. Can you just also put some light on that? And so what's the different, and what that means, and in what directions things are developing?
Okay. We have a clear technology roadmap by 2025. So actually we did that like when we started up the company. And so by the time we defined HJT in 5 different phases. So from HJT 1.0 to HJT 5.0. And HJT 5.0, that the picture has been shown by Dr. Martin Green this morning as well. For HJT 1.0, it's simply just, let's call that a copycat of what the Japanese did in the past. So that's HJT with amorphous thin film structure. So that's HJT 1.0. But we add on top of that, we introduce super multi-bus bar on top of the basic HJT structure. And then for HJT 2.0, we changed the thin film structure. We changed that to micro crystal thin film. So, but we did that from like one side and then to the double side. So for HJT 2.0, that's front side microcrystalline thin film structure, and together we introduce UV light transfer film as well. And then for HJT 3.0, we refine the structure from front side to double side. So that right now it's double side microcrystalline thin film structure, and together we introduce butyl edge tape to prevent moisture. So that's HJT 3.0. So from and then to HJT 4.0 and 5.0. So structure-wise, that's for microcrystalline thin film structure. We believe that's the best for HJT. So there will be a lot of refinement to it, but structure-wise, that will be the ideal pattern for being using for the next, we believe, for the next, at least for the next 5 to 10 years. So, but add on top of that, for HJT 4.0, we're adding electrode coupling, and for HJT 5.0, also we introduced a zero bus bar for HJT 4.0 with electrode coupling. And for HJT 5.0, we add back contact structure on top of HJT. So we'll transform HJT to HBC. So that's the 5 generations of HJT that we've been doing. So for every phase that we expand, for every plant that manufacture plant that we expand, we're using the next generation. So that's what we've been did for the last slightly over 2 years. So right now is the 3rd, we are reaching 3. So this HJT 3.0 comes out.
You must have a big research department, or?
We do. Yeah. And on top of that's just for HJT. And beyond that, why we believe HJT have a longer future, a longer lifetime, is because we are already doing some researches on perovskite plus HJT, the tandem cell part. So we did a lot of research on that, and we are continuing doing researches on that as well. So that will be, we won't call that HJT 6.0, that will be like next generation. Yeah. So, but based on the basic HJT structure, so that's what we believe we can do in the future.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at HJT, okay, efficiency-wise, it's great, and there's also a lot of upside potential. But you still have to compete in the market. I think the equipment is different. I think the capex is in the beginning somewhat higher also. So how is your how are you positioning your products in the market also? Because cost-wise, you have a disadvantage to TOPCon probably, yeah? In the beginning at least, also when you are somewhat smaller, you're new and all this equipment. So how is the positioning of your HJT product?
Well, positioning-wise, it's actually we have some advantage because when you're talking about cost, we have like 2 costs. One, you have to look into in our customer side. So from the end users' point of view, they prefer to using HJT in some certain area. For those areas like with a higher installation cost, and also HJT have some advantage, some upside for not only because HJT have a higher power voltage, but also they have some hidden benefit. Like we have HJT technology have high double conversion rate, and HJT have a low temperature coefficient. HJT has so those advantages give HJT not on top of the high power voltage. You can also gain extra power generate because of those hidden benefit that HJT can imply. So the customer actually put into all that into conclusion is the customer actually appreciate HJT is a better product in certain area, gives them a better return. So LCOE wise, it's actually even better. So that's from our customer's point of view. But from as a supplier, we do encounter some problems. So we have there was a lot of cost reduction work we have to do, not only capex wise, because for capex that's a barrier for if you want to expand. with a huge volume, but depreciation cost is actually not a major cost for HJT comparing to TOPCon and to PERC. The major cost of is actually with wafer, with seal paste, with the utilization rate of HJT in the past. So that's the problems that we encountered for the last 2 years. And we did a lot of improvement. So right now, we are looking very close cost crossover with PERC and TOPCon in the next few months.
Okay.
So because we keep reducing the synchronous wafer, we did a lot of reduction on the paste usage, and also we changed the material from silver paste to silver coated copper paste, and also we bring in zero busbar technology, so that's reduced a lot of paste usage as well. And then there was some other method that we've been researched, and then we put that a lot of effect technologies into the massive production right now. So from the figure showed that for maybe next few months we can see the crossover of that's the manufacture cost wise. So the total cost will be in parallel with PERC.
So will that mean that you're also, but at the moment you're still focusing mostly on rooftop markets with your product, or because I think when you have all these cost reductions, then it would be also the way into the utility scale market. So of course LCOE wise you have an advantage, but developers still look at prices in the beginning. So what's your strategy also in terms of applications for your products?
Well, in terms of application of our product, I can give you some figures. We've been keep shipping outside for 2 years. So shipment-wise, if you look at the percentage, when we start the business, the first year we ship 100% outside of China. So there's no actually product consumed in China. So last year is our second full year. We shipped 60% outside of China and consumed 40% in the domestic market. And this year we're looking into 50-50, and that will be the figure that we're looking into next and then the year after. So we take the foreign market very seriously, and then that's because HJT is actually being approached by the Japanese companies in 3 decades ago to the foreign countries. So they have a better understanding of HJT when using that. And in terms of the end users, the reason why we have a feeling that HJT can only goes to rooftop market is because the rooftop have some disadvantage when you install the module. The installation cost is too high, and it's hard to maintain that. So HJT gives a benefit because it gives higher power voltage, and then they have a higher reliability. So that's why the rooftop customers prefer to use HJT, especially in Western Europe. Actually, if we look at our customer by percentage wise, we have just take Europe as an example. 50% of that goes to rooftop. Some of them residential, some of them CNI, and another 50% of that actually goes to utility scale. But even though it's one major customer in Europe, then they've been signed just a big volume, big contract with us recently, and so that's for Europe. And we also been reached by some Middle East utility investors, utility scale power plant investors recently, and they wanted to acquire some of our modules in Q3 and Q4. So, and in China, actually, HAT is, as I said, HAT in some certain areas, the areas with a higher temperature, with a higher ground light reflection rate, those areas they prefer to use HAT because HAT actually can, even with a price premium right now, they can still give them a better LCOE. So that's why even for utility scale, especially in China, because the price is not really much different from the utility scale to rooftop, if you don't including the CIA, for residential and then for ground power plant, the price is pretty much the same. So there was no difference. Yeah, so in China, our major customers is already utility scale customer. So overall, I would say there was roughly only about 1/3 of the customer goes to the rooftop. 1/3 of our product goes to rooftop. 2/3 of them goes to utility scale.
Okay. You just mentioned this one big customer in Europe. I think you signed a supply contract for 1.5 gigawatt. That's huge, huh?
Yeah.
So what were their drivers to opt for heterojunction? Because they want to use it for utility scale, as I understand, or?
Yeah, they have. They are a customer exclusively focusing in Bulgaria market. And first of all, they get in touch with us because they heard about the HAT and they wanted to have a try with HAT. At the very beginning, they're actually not really approaching us. They're approaching others with HAT expansion plans in the past, but they are unable to provide them with the volume that they require. So they approached us by the beginning of last year. And they start because we are a new company, so there will be some trust building issues. And along the line, they acquired, I believe the first batch is only roughly about 70 to 80 megawatt product they ordered, and then they shipped it like in a bit of them at first. And they had some test run, and that the number showed them is that the best product they ever acquired, comparing to all the other power plants that they've already built. So they start adding more order more volumes from us. So right now they've already ordered more than 300 megawatts from us, and that's why they decided that because all of their power plants performed really well. I should say like exceeding their expectation. So they put a huge order. Maybe that size in a lot of Chinese companies' eyes was not really as huge. It's a big order, but it's not really as huge as that. But for them, they only have like plans for annual installation like 100 megawatts size. So for them to order like 1.5 gigawatts to build over the next 2 to 3 years is huge. Oh. And then they're thinking about maybe there will be some additional volumes being added on top of that as well. We'll be on the discussion.
Oh, great.
That's one of the stuff I have to do next month.
Very nice. Maybe just finally, we are here at SNEC, largest solar power show in the world. So what's the news you will present?
Well, there will be some more orders to be signed, huge orders, gigawatt size, and some of them focusing domestic market, and most of them will be focusing on the foreign market. So as I said, we split like 50-50 the market share in China, outside of China, and there will be some new product release announcement that be made.
Okay.
And because while we did a lot of focusing R&D we're spending a lot in R&D, but for R&D wise, we not only just focus on the product itself, but we also are interested in how spend a lot of energies to analyze those application environment. So there will be some new products that have been designed for some totally different way to apply them for totally different minor market, let's call that, in the past. But in the future, we believe that will be a major market as well.
Okay, we're looking forward to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.